Still rolling?
Yep.
Hey. So today we're going to be talking about building a really effective sales engine. It's really important that any business has got an effective sales engine delivering those opportunities day in, day out, week in, week out, to create a healthy, vibrant, cash-rich business. So the first part of delivering a really effective sales process is being able to qualify the people that you're actually talking to. You know, it's really important that we get the right target audience when we're marketing, but it's equally as important to qualify your opportunities to make sure you don't waste time trying to sell to people who maybe don't even need your product. It's also ethical, and when we talk about ethical sales, it's important to understand whether your client will benefit and needs the product or service that you're providing. If they do need the product and service that you're providing, then I'll be honest with you, if this is the right product and the right service for that client, it's your duty to be able to sell to them. It's your duty to make sure that they get the right product at the right quality that will deliver the benefit that they need. If you know in your heart that this is the wrong product for you, from an ethical point of view, it's your duty to tell them that it's the wrong product. Okay, so when we're qualifying our clients, or as I like to call it, snog, marry or avoid, and when we're qualifying our clients, it's really important to make sure that we've got the right product for them, to make sure it's the right time for them as well, and to make sure that we're qualifying them from an ethical point of view. So once we've qualified the opportunities of the right opportunities for us, then it's important that we walk them through a sales process to take them from an opportunity to a decision. So when we're building up a sales process, this is a deliberate series of touch points we have with a client to work them towards a decision. You have to plan this. Plan your work and then work your plan. But every sales process needs defined touch points as you go along, and each of those touch points should have a purpose and add value to the client. So when we're developing a sales process, it's really important that we start looking at the value we're adding to the opportunity as we go through that process. So what's in it for them? Why should they agree to talk to you? What value are they getting out of each of those touch points? So let's go into a little bit more detail about what a touch point could look like. A touch point could be as simple as a phone call, but every phone call should have a purpose and an outcome that you want from that particular touch point. You should have scripts, you should have questions that you're going to ask, you should move the opportunity forward. I use 7 touch points in my process, and each of those touch points is really important to move the opportunity towards a decision at the end of the process. Whether it's a phone call, whether it's sending them a brochure or a sales pack with a follow-up phone call. Sometimes we use funny postcards that we send out to make the process different and unique. But what is your sales process? How are you walking your opportunity through a deliberate sales process towards a decision? It's also really important to remember that at each touch point, all you really need to sell is the next touch point. So in the initial phone call, all I'm selling is maybe a coffee meeting. During the coffee meeting, all you're selling is the follow-up consultative sales meeting. In between, you might want to send a brochure. And before the meeting, you might want to make a phone call to make sure everything's in place, to make sure that you have a really effective consultative meeting when you meet your opportunity. So just as a quick example of a really effective sales process, the one that I've got in place for networking is I will exchange cards at a networking event. The very next day, they'll get a handwritten postcard from me. That's a little bit of fun. It's something memorable. And a follow-up phone call. The follow-up phone call is to arrange a one-to-one coffee meeting. At the coffee meeting, we can then arrange a follow-up sales meeting. The conversion ratio that I've got from the networking event via a postcard to a one-to-one coffee meeting is over 80%. Sales processes really work. So define yours, get the collateral together, and start testing and measuring how effective it is. So finally, I want to talk about scripts. So the question is to script or not to script. That is the question. Scripts aren't about picking up a piece of paper and reading off it. My name's Alan and I'm here to... No, not at all. Scripts are about making sure that you're using the right words and to practice the right words, putting it into your own words. So you can use scripts to position a sales meeting or a sales phone call really, really effectively, because you're saying the same things over and over again, but it's the first time that your opportunity's heard it. So make sure you've got a really compelling positioning statement at the start of a phone call or at the start of a meeting. You can then use script to ask incredible questions throughout the sales call or throughout the sales meeting, to handle objections, to make sure that you've gathered all the information you need to gather, and finally, to close to the next touch point along your sales process. Scripts are vital. Make sure you write them down, make sure you put them on your own words, read them, practice them in front of the mirror 40, 50, 100 times until they're rolling off your tongue without pause. Like that. Okay guys, so in today's video, we talked about how to build a really compelling and effective sales engine. We talked about how to qualify your opportunities. We talked about how to build up a sales process. And finally, we talked about how to use scripts really effectively in that sales process. So thank you for watching today. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you.